All right, guys, good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group, and it is Thursday, July 30th. Earnings Palooza. Wow, pretty crazy reports all around. Maybe not so much on Google, but if you looked at the market cap that was reporting today after the close, this has got to be the biggest earnings day that I've ever seen in terms of all these names reporting. But we'll kind of start with Amazon, and I don't know if you guys want to see the reports for these, but I'll show you, I guess, a couple of the numbers. Or basically, we put all this in our news channel, but one after another of the big guys reporting. And I think what's interesting about this too is, and I'll definitely stand by what we said earlier. I did a we did a Tribeca Trade Group earnings session around. I think we did that at 1:30 today, and my view was that Amazon was going to have to basically crush it. Was going to have to crush their numbers, and they did. For them to basically go higher. If you look at the 1 hour value area, which gives you nice support and resistance levels, it looks like once again our system is coming up with some nice, basically some nice levels to trade from. So that is still in value and pulling back a little bit from the highs, but. Yeah, I mean, I think what Jim Cramer said, and I hear people are criticizing him a little bit, but I agree in terms of these companies had to really deliver their results. They had to be stellar, and a couple of them are. So that's why you're seeing this type of reaction, and it's pretty awesome. For lack of a better word, some of these earnings reports are incredible. I mean, this guidance, they were estimated to be 86.5 billion, and their guidance is now 87 to 93. That is a lot of money. And yeah, I mean, the other thing is, like, there's so many segments of Amazon's business, but we got results from FedEx and we got results from UPS, and their numbers were strong. So you kind of knew, or you kind of thought that their numbers on the delivery side for that part of their business was going to be really strong. But then it's always about the cloud revenue and the API revenue as well, and I think those were very strong as well. Just to move over to one of the other big heavy hitters, really interesting. Apple's numbers crushed it as well. As you would think. The story that I read was, let's see if I can find it. Maybe I don't have it, but 59.6, 59.7 third quarter revenue versus estimated 52. The numbers are just ginormous. Like, it's crazy. iPhone revenue 26 billion versus estimated 21. So I did play this one long in the room. I put on a call spread. I think the earnings move for this. So I'll show you what I did here. Of course, as always, you could always see my trades live. I'm one of the few, I think, out there that show you all the trades live. I'll talk about my P&L, and at the end of the month, I'll send out a video about that. But with 1 day left of the month, I don't like to jinx things, but I think I had altogether pretty good, solid P&L month for the month of July. I never talk about P&L, results until I get to the end of the month, and we're just about there. No jinx, please. But here was my small Apple trade, just a little, just risking a little bit of money, 387 to 392. I don't like to risk a lot of money on earnings. And then this was my idea. I did not play Facebook, but this was my idea for Facebook, the 237 245 call spread. Again, really, like, for earnings, which I'm not going to go into major detail, but because of the implied move and the expensiveness in the options, spreads for me, make better sense than doing outright calls, puts, because I think you need big moves. Now, I think you got it for some of these names that if you probably went outright calls, they may have worked for some of these things, which is very rare, I think, because you basically have to get a move over what the implied move was for the options. And then my Amazon trade, I sold a put spread. So This is a bullish trade as well. This is a credit spread. So I sold a put spread. So I collect $3.90 per contract for Amazon. And they were implying, what was the move that they were implying for Amazon? I always like to see. Yeah, the market makers were implying a move basically up to 32.40, which is right here on the right side of the screen. Again, that's important. So just to kind of take a look, because it is kind of fun to see. Let's say that you bought the, I don't know, the 3150 call in Amazon that expires tomorrow. So the July 31st. So the 30, let's see if I could just bring this up in my option trade. Sorry, I can't speak. 3150. That would have cost you the 3150, right? Calls that expire tomorrow would have cost you about $4,100 for one contract. Right now, you have to add the strike with the premium. So 3150 plus $41. Anything above 3190 is your profit. So you may have made, like, so right now, like, and you could of course hedge this after hours, right, by selling stock versus your option. But if you sold stock right here at 3,200, you would have about a $900 gain on a $4,000 investment. That's a tough trade, right? Because if it doesn't knock the cover off the ball, you lose $4,000, right? If Amazon did not go above 3150, right? So that's this is an important concept, because I think some of the younger traders out there think that you could just buy calls going into earnings. It's very difficult, and even with this move in Amazon, because some of these younger traders, they don't know how to delta hedge, which is, in my opinion, an essential part of trading options. You need to know how to lock in your profits here. So, for example, if I was long, now again, I did not do this trade, but just hypothetically, if I was long the 3150 contract and I had to pay over $4,000 for that, you better bet I would be locking in some of the profits by selling stock versus that option contract. All right. But again, notice that we're basically consolidating right around the top of value. Facebook, I didn't go over those guys, but I think they're out. That's an all-time high. I'm on the 1-hour chart just to kind of put things in perspective. So they are trying to basically break through all-time highs, and you have that for Apple as well, is out to all-time highs as well. So very nice. And this is my tactical portfolio. So I am long. I did reduce the weight. I took some profits in Amazon. I took some profits in Apple. And then I switched some things around too. I talked about how I got long some commodity plays a little bit, which I did not take any profits on this in this portfolio. But yeah, but this is where this portfolio stands. So that's good. It's good to be long some of those things. I got a lot of questions today about whether you hold stock and so forth. If you're comfortable doing that and have it in the right context of a portfolio, I feel comfortable doing it, but everybody's different. And again, this video is for information purposes only, not giving out any advice or recommendations. The last one of the big guys is Google, which Google is basically flat or unched. So this is one of those where if you bought calls, you're going to lose on something like that if it doesn't move big. Very interesting too to see the pin action, right? The names that are benefiting from what the Amazon results are. This is the fun stuff, in my opinion, because there's not as much risk. Again, in my opinion, but this Melly, which reports next week, is up to 11.35 in the after hours. Very, very nice. Skyworks, which we got long today, is up to 144. So really nice. Fastly was another trade. You could see my setup that I put out. So this was really nice. This is up to 95. I'm still long this sucker. So this is a nice move. Net is another one that I am long. This one's up to 41.57 in the after hours. So this one's pushing all-time highs as well. Broadcom, which this one I don't have a position in. Maybe this gets Broadcom going because Broadcom is pretty, like if it gets above 316. Let's see what Nvidia is doing after hours. Look at Nvidia go. I talked about this one too. The trigger was 421 on this one. So, talk about all these semiconductors moving. And this is one, like if you're looking for a possible another name that could run into earnings, because I like that trade very much, then why not Nvidia at this point? Um, Who's to say that this name shouldn't run further into earnings after? Look at the nice little consolidation in this one. So that's probably my favorite of the bunch because they don't report till when? Another couple weeks. So I love the run into earnings trade. It's one of my favorites. So really impressive. What else can I say about today? Here's the as I mentioned, the trade blotter that I put together. I also went along a little bit of Lamb Research via a call spread. Another name that I think has a possibility to break out. I talked about my PayPal trade yesterday. Look at the PayPal trade. So again, this is one of my favorite trades too for earnings. I put on a long call spread, took this off for more than a double, and not only did I make money on the call spread, but I made a good amount of money. I covered the short put spread, right? So I sold a put spread and I went long a call spread, and look at the money I made on this thing. So I made money obviously on the short put spread, buying it back, right, for 10 cents, and then this 187, 195 call spread, made more than a double in that. So that was a hell of a nice trade in this one. Home Depot played a little bit of that one today. Teladoc, we go over this strategy I try to go over this strategy, at least I should say. Teladoc is up to 237. What I do when I see something like this, when I trade an iron condor, which I won't go into in this video, but you could Google what an iron condor is. It's selling when you don't think a name is going to move that much. You sell one of the strategies that you could do in options is you can sell a put spread, earn premium, right? Take in premium, and you could sell a call spread and you can earn premium on that, and you make a good deal of money if the stock doesn't move. If the stock starts to move, what do I do out in the market? I go ahead and buy a little bit of stock. I've been very successful on this trade because what I'll do is once I see it start to get to my strike on, which for this one on the call side. So again, the put side you don't have to worry about because that is, of course, makes money when the stock goes up because I'm short the put spread, bullish trade. So I'm short this call spread. Once it gets to my strike or close to it, I start to buy stock because I'm capped on my loss, right? The most that I could lose is 750, right? The difference of the strikes and the spread minus the premium collected. And then what I do is I begin to buy some stock, right? So I bought some at exactly when it started to enter the strike. Again, most I can lose is 750, but if the stock just takes off, I'll make a lot of money on the stock, right? So here was the result of this. Oh, I didn't put it in the chat. Sorry. I sold this right at the close. So let's see. For TDOC, so bought back TDOC call spread at 690. All right, so loss on that, and sold stock. I sold stock at 239. And what I paid 222. Right? So look at how much more I made on the stock versus the loss on, because again, the loss is capped. I can't lose more than 750. So that's 690 minus this side of the trade, right, which is minus $2. right? So that's 490 is my loss, right? Minus the premium that I collected. And then I made, now I only hedged 50% of this, so I made $17, so basically $8 on that. Right? What's 17? I can't do the math in my head. Yeah, eight and a half dollars. So I made 8.5 on stock trade. Right, minus the $4. So that's a profit, and then I also made the money on the short put spread by covering that, right? Which I think I put this in here too. T-Doc bought back the put spread so adding that, so that's 220 plus 220 on short put spread. So equals, right? So 490 plus, yeah. So equals 710 per contract. So that's a nice little trade, right? Right, but there has to, so you have to, the point of me going through this exercise in this video is that there's some management that happens. And if you kind of get the hang of doing these trades a little bit and the management process, this worked for me in Shopify too. The same type of trade. As the price started to approach my bottom strike, I started to buy stock. Because again, what I want to happen at that point is once I start to buy stock, I want the stock to take off. Because again, I'm capped on the loss because I only have it's a spread, right? So I can only lose the difference in the strikes, the width of the strikes minus the premium collected. So that's that. So again, spending a lot of time on some other things. Fastly was a really nice trade, and again, I took 2 targets in this, and I'm holding the balance. Net is a trade that I've been holding for a while. I did do this iron condor in the Qs. I don't think it's going to work. I did not manage this one. I'm okay kind of letting things happen sometimes on the earnings. Yeah, so keep in mind all these moves, right, that we're seeing, the Amazon, the Google, the Facebook, the Apple, you still have to get through the conference call. So if they, really, that's where the majority of the information comes out about what the management believes about their future prospects. So be careful with that. And that's why you should always know how to hedge these things, especially if you're long any type of options. There are ways to kind of lock in profit after hours. That's delta hedging, and I go over that a lot in the trading room. So again, really, really nice day today. Even though I didn't put on a ton of exposure for earnings, I'm holding some of these things in stock. But all in all, there was some really nice trades. I'll give a hat tip to Joe Fahmy on this trade for Zillow. He was talking about this last night. This is also a name that I've been long in the tactical portfolio, but this was setting up for a swing trade too. And you got a nice move out of here, and possibly a run into earnings, right? And this name is, as he said, is a name with a decent amount of short interest. That is, so I always try to give, when I see somebody put out a good idea, I always try to give credit where credit's due. But this was a nice setup, people. Yeah, so 20% short interest. So this would be really nice to see if the shorts come, covering for this one. I did take one target in Zillow today, 69.90. I paid 67.70 on this break of the value area, and that's basically what we had in our hands today. A lot of names that I was being patient in, watching for these names to break out. Another name to watch for tomorrow, which is Twilio, which I played this name yesterday. I got the move I was looking for, but this Twilio is now breaking out as well. So you could use a stop of 267. So similar concept with that NVIDIA trade. All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Fabulous, awesome day, and I wish you guys a great Friday tomorrow. Hope to see you guys in the Tribeca Trade Group room. If you don't know where that is, you can go to my profile, and you can click on here right on my profile and sign up to be a member of Tribeca Trade Group. Best trading community, I believe, out there on the street. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.